millionaire when I first raised my million. And I was like, no, ma'am. Okay.
No, ma'am.
This is my bank account. I say any founder who raises $1 million is probably broke. I was like, that's why they needed that $1 million. Okay.
Well, for the business at least, right? So with capital, it accelerates your business.
Yeah.
So you can grow faster, so you can launch your products faster, so you can have your inventory. And that's what we're using, the capital for. The apprehensiveness came from, again, the expectation or the perception that now you have all this excess capital to do certain things, and you're just like, actually, I'm probably going to still run my business very lean, right? Because profitability means a lot for me, right? And that's what was attractive to Angels, was that Black Girl Sunscreen is profitable, right? We've been profitable for 3 years, and we've only been in business for 4, and that's quite a feat because there are many businesses that are not profitable. Mm-hmm. So we take pride on that, and the apprehensiveness is too, like, I do like to move in silence. Like, what does it matter if we raise capital? But I also think that, we need to tell more stories about this. I sat here and told you ladies and everybody that's listening, like, I had no idea how to put a deck together. I needed to get that help. I do have a CFO that's super solid, so he knows what to put in there, but what are we actually looking for? So I think that, in the space that I was, like, I was frustrated. I was nervous. I felt like throwing a candle against the wall because I didn't even know if this was the right decision, right? Like, so do you want somebody that's silent, or do you want somebody that is hands-on and very active? And knowing my personality, I'm like, well, shit, I've been running this for years. Who are you trying to tell me anything, right? Because you got capital, now you could tell me what's good? No.
Yeah.
This is what I was going through the whole process, right? Because you got to wrap your head around just not necessarily having a partner, but this is somebody that you kind of answer to.
You're right. You're right.
In a way. So that period for me was very, very difficult. And so we get back to, signing the deal, it's excitement now because I'm like, whew, I don't necessarily have to worry about that inventory right now. We got it. People, our big box retailer is putting in big orders. I don't got to worry about that filling that PO. You know what? I'm looking to hire top talent, and we can compensate at a respectable pay. We're not asking to, like, hey, can you be part of the movement? Can you just be down for the cause? No, we can pay you now. You know what I mean? So there are things that have come along that feel really good. I just think that I still, the fact that people think that you have a lot of money because you've raised money is a weird concept to me.
I thank you for sharing that and being honest with those feelings around that. I think it's really helpful for everybody to hear, actually, really helpful. Because, Kim Lewis will talk about that a lot. It's like they raise money, but that doesn't mean they have money. Right,
yes.
Kim?
Yes. And something I want to mention that I think this is particular for us, if you know what I mean, we don't get money for our ideas. We get money when we're making money. And so I didn't even bother raising, and Shantae said it, like, she was in business for at least 2 years, right? And profitable before somebody was even really interested, like, oh, we can invest money. For us, we had made $1 million before we got an investment for $1 million. And so, and I didn't bother going out raising because I knew what the conversation would be. So you almost have to be the money to get money, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. My second thought is that, the investors are investing in the entrepreneurs, right? And they know we're strong and we're in our business, right? We're not going to let this business fail because it's not about disappointing them. It's about disappointing ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I think about it now. Like, this person is giving me money, but, like, good. Like, I'm gonna triple your money, but, like, it's really for me, right? Just to see if I could take this challenge on. And I think that's why some investors are getting hip to the game. Like, we have that strength. right? And if we've gotten this far, well, we only going to keep going. Because we don't come this far for it to fall apart, right?
Right.
It's a personal pressure that we have that our counterparts don't have, most of them. And there's a lot of psychology that goes into that. And being, having that strength and wanting to succeed for more reasons other than the bottom line. It's a lot of personal, there's a lot of just personal things for, Black women as we're starting these businesses. And that is it's just interesting that our white counterparts don't have to have this much pressure in addition to growing your business and knowing all this other technical stuff about it.
And don't be afraid to remind them, because I remember once I had this guy, we were talking about the idea and he was, not me. And then he goes, yeah, so like, great idea. I'm into it. This sounds fun. But like, do you have any like experience starting companies? Like, what is like your track record? Like, you have any entrepreneurial experience? And I said, what do you mean? My whole life has been an entrepreneurial experience. What else do you need to know? And he's working on it. But sometimes you have to remind them that like your work getting from point A to point B with limited resources, like whether it be your first person in your family go to college or whatever, you don't be afraid to use your life experience as also the resume. Because sometimes like, I may not have formal experience starting a company, but like when Mark Zuckerberg wanted his money at 19, no one was asking him what kind of entrepreneurial experience he had.
Say that again.
So you have to remind these people. I'm like, well, my whole life is the resume. Next.
I supported myself in college. So I went to Howard, and I supported myself by my e-commerce business and selling water bottles down in Eastern Market and selling my brand down in Eastern Market. And that's how I paid my rent. I got student loans. I graduated in 2004. I'm still paying for these gosh darn things.
Right. So you used to say that, and that was only like a day in your life for a week, and they're already exhausted. Exactly. So come again.
Right.
So don't be, especially now that the world is open to our opinions, don't be afraid to like, there's corporate talk, but to just do the real life talk. Like, okay, I know what you mean, but let me tell you what I mean. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm saying? And one thing I would say that you walk away with that, depending on their reaction, sometimes they may look glossy, but if they don't understand you, they may not be the right partner for you. So don't be afraid. You have to have a vision for your partnership just as much as you have a vision for your company. Again, it's a marriage. Like, there are venture capitalists out there that they want to give you money, but they're micromanaging and they want to make the business their idea. You have to know yourself to know, you know what, that's not the partner for me. And then there are others that are more quiet. They're more silent. We'll give you the money, check in every quarter. You kind of have to know what you want and what kind of partnership you need to succeed at the end of the day. If you need someone checking in on you every day, then great, go for that guy. But if that's not who you are, which most women of color we're not, I mean, we know a couple of things about a couple of things, we raise these babies and we go clubbing and we do it all within, again, like 2-hour rate, like time period. Like you got, if you know that strength is part of who you are, don't be afraid to like find a complementary partner to help you move in that way, if that makes sense.
I would say VCs and angels don't save your business. So some of you might be thinking, well, I can't get my business off the ground. Like I need and that's not the case. Like you still need to know how to sell, right? So like that's if you're not willing to sell your business, like verbally pitching, whatever, and practicing those, then like, I don't know that's probably the thing that we probably all have learned over time. But VCs are not necessarily successful entrepreneurs. And I think that's something that everybody forgets, right? Like some of these people were at high, tech companies and they got rich. And now they're like, the fastest way to grow my money is to be entrepreneurs. But that's not them. And so a lot of times we'll look at them for advice. And, either they're clueless or they're putting you in touch with people And a lot of times, like, if you were start a business in 2009 when Facebook was on the come up, and your ads were super cheap, like you may not be great at entrepreneurship. You just got into business at a really good time when Facebook had really, really high ROIs, right? So like, I wanted to say that. And I wanted to say that the investors are not necessarily entrepreneurs. Oh, I forgot the other piece. I'll come back to it.
You're not going to save your business.
Oh, the first million that you raised. So a lot of times, most people waste that $1 million. And I didn't know that. I did not know that, right? It's expected that, and I've talked to other like white VCs or whatever, and they're like, they don't expect you to kill it with that $1 million. They're probably like, okay, so this is your water hose of money, and you're gonna spray it at every problem you have, and you're probably gonna make a lot of money mistakes, which I made a lot of money mistakes. To me, they were huge and massive, but to somebody else, they're like, that was like $30,000. It's not a big deal. But for me, I was like, and so that was the first thing I learned. The second thing is that if somebody invested in you and they're an angel and they had a check to be able to write $500,000 to you, they are not thinking about that money at night. Okay, they gave it to you because it was extra. All right.
So I'm gonna jump in for you. I'm gonna jump in for a second, Kim. I have to disagree with you there.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I do because, when I think of money, right? So, for example, small scale, we've run, a couple $1,000s for Facebook ads. And the way I treated that prize was, you know what, this is my $2,000 and I'm going to oversee this process as if it were my $2,000, right? So then when I up the scale to the investment, I'm like, okay, I'm going to plan this money out and allocate it where necessary as if it were my own, right? So it's not about pissing it away or throwing it away. It's about strategically putting it in places where it's needed and executing that plan that I presented to then not necessarily need more money, but to make more money with just that money that I was given. Mm-hmm. So I have to say that I'm treating this investment as if it were my own money.
And I'm not saying you're not doing that. I'm telling you what a lot of
so
raise money, like the 99% of like white men who get investments, most of them.
Yeah, fine. But I think what we should talk about, right, is okay, women of color, Black women, you get this money. What's the next step? What do you do next? Yeah, you might have this forecast, you might have this budget, but what's the first thing that you do? Do you go buy office space? Probably not, right? What do you do? And I think that we're lacking these type of conversations because yeah, it might be true what you said. For me, it's not, but I think there needs to be conversation, dialogue around that.